Hello everybody and welcome to this video. My name's Alex, or as my channel goes by, the Snake Dude 1814, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to properly set up a hatchling through juvenile size enclosure for a Chinese water dragon. Now, before I start the video, I really want to thank Zilla Reptile Products for sponsoring this video. They sent me a variety of their lighting and enclosures. This is one of their new 18 by 18 by 25 front opening terrariums. Truly one of the best enclosures on the market. While this enclosure is good for a hatchling all the way through juvenile sized Chinese water dragon, if you currently have a large juvenile or subadult water dragon, click the card right up here and that'll link you to a video I did previously on how to build a large proper habitat for an adult Chinese water dragon. Please note, this size enclosure will not last the dragon its entire life. These are large semi-arboreal lizards capable of reaching 3 feet in length. They will need a large custom semi-arboreal habitat, and a fish tank is not meant for them. You cannot keep them in a fish tank their entire life. You will stunt their growth, damage their snouts because they do not understand the concept of glass, and to be quite frank, they're climbing lizards. The majority of fish tanks on the market are built lengthwise, not vertically. Being a climbing lizard, they need the height of a habitat more than the length in order to thrive in captivity. So again, before we start this video off, I wanted to thank Zilla Reptile Products again for sending me this amazing terrarium as well as some of their lighting, because truly they have some of the best reptile products on the market, and as I will state in this video, they will be perfect for raising up a young Chinese water dragon before it needs its permanent adult enclosure. In terms of this video, I hope you take my advice into serious consideration. I've been keeping Chinese water dragons for a few years now. I've bred them successfully, and I've put a lot of thought and effort into raising them correctly in captivity. There are many different ways to care for Chinese water dragons. Some work, some obviously don't, and I will tell you, this is what has worked for me to raising happy, healthy dragons. So to start off, let's look at the terrarium. So this is a Zilla 18-inch by 18-inch by 25-inch front opening terrarium, and this will be perfect for a young Chinese water dragon up till they're around a foot to 14 inches long with the tail. That gives you around, I'd say, 8 months to a year for the dragon to grow out, and while you can build its forever home, which should be a minimum sized enclosure of 3 foot by 3 foot by 4 foot tall. All dimensions that I state for the rest of this video will be length times width times height. So the Zilla Front Opening Terrarium, there are obviously some benefits to it. One, front opening access. You can't deny that. It makes servicing the enclosure incredibly easy. And to be quite frank, it looks really nice. Now, you'll notice that this terrarium is covered on 3 of the 4 sides. Chinese water dragons do not understand the concept of glass. If you put them in a glass fish tank or an all-glass terrarium, they will vigorously snout rub and damage their faces trying to run through a clear barrier. To cure that problem quickly and easily, I have simply taken sheets of paper towels and covered 3 of the 4 sides of the glass terrarium so the dragon cannot see out. The substrate level will fill most of the bottom area right here, so when the dragon is eye level, it will not be able to see out of the terrarium. When we finally get to our heating and lighting, we're going to need to remember that this enclosure has a screen top. And the one thing that I really like about the Zilla Front Opening Terrariums is the screen tops are not only removable very quickly with a snap on and off feature, but they are completely adjustable. They typically lie flat, with the thinner bar being at the back of the terrarium and the larger panel being at the front. However, with the way we are going to be placing our lighting, you can actually rotate this to fit your custom lighting needs on any way you want on the terrarium, with the thin ventilation strip being near the front, side, or back as it comes in the package. Now, for our video's sake, we will be placing it so the heating lamps can be furthest to the back right corner of the vivarium. So we will snap the lid into place. And just like that, our lid is secure and we're ready to move on to the next step. So now we get to the fun part, and that's setting up the Chinese water dragon terrarium. And the first thing that we need to take into consideration is our choice of substrate. Now, when I say substrate, I'm referring to the material that will be on the ground of the enclosure. Chinese water dragons like a really nice humid enclosure, and they also require a substrate that will absorb excess spray water and release that back into the air for added humidity. And I recommend no other than Zilla Products Jungle Mix. I've been using this for my Chinese water dragons on all stages of their life. It truly is the best mixture out on the market for Chinese water dragons. If you're curious on where to get it, I will leave links in the description below where you can get all the products seen in this video. The Zilla Jungle Mix is a peat and sphagnum moss mixture that is designed for tropical reptiles. Chinese water dragons hail from southern China, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, prefer to reside along fast-moving streams. Streams and moving water contributes to high relative air humidity, which the Zilla Jungle Mix will contribute to. However, one thing that I will note from my personal experience of using it is you do not want an incredibly deep layer of substrate, maybe 1 to 2 inches to provide cushioning under the dragon's feet while still allowing a shallow enough of a dirt layer to completely evaporate. The last thing you need is standing water on the bottom of your dragon's vivarium. So without further ado, let's add our substrate to the terrarium. Now that we've added the substrate for our Chinese water dragon, we need to take into account that this is a species of lizard that is semi-arboreal. While the name may suggest that the lizard is aquatic, Chinese water dragons are actually semi-arboreal, spending around 80% of their time up in trees. Hence why we are using a 25-inch tall terrarium. As I said earlier in the video, they benefit more from height as opposed to length. The higher up they are from the ground, the safer they feel. Being semi-arboreal, Chinese water dragons are going to appreciate many objects to climb and perch on. And out of all the variety of climbing options available on the market, I have to say from personal experience, my favorite thing to use is just good old-fashioned cork bark. You can pick this up online at any reptile expo or any reptile specialty shop. It truly is an amazing piece of hardwood to use. The water dragons can hide in it because it is hollow, providing them security and safety. It is incredibly mold and humid resistant, so you don't have to worry about it deteriorating in the hot and humid conditions water dragons need. And the various holes and textures on it makes it a great wood for the water dragons to grip onto and climb with ease. So for this setup, I have numerous pieces of cork bark with me that I just keep on hand. As I've stated before, I've bred Chinese water dragons, so you need a lot of cork bark to house them correctly. And now we can set up the cork bark in order to make sure the Chinese water dragon has proper areas to climb and bask. So now what we have done is we've added our various pieces of cork bark to the enclosure. I've placed certain areas of the cork near the back right area of the screen, which will create a basking area for the water dragons. Chinese water dragons like to bask at temperatures between 95 and around 110 degrees Fahrenheit. This lets them get warm enough, but at the same time not so hot that they're going to burn themselves. Other than our basking site, it'll also allow various temperatures throughout the enclosure so the Chinese water dragon can migrate down and cool off, as well as having access to its water bowl. When it comes to water, I really like using a nice shallow dish. For this video, again, thank you to Zilla Reptile Products, we're going to be using a large Zilla Reptile Products terrace dish. This will hold around 1 inch to 2 inches of water at the deepest section, meaning the young Chinese water dragon will not be able to drown, while at the same time providing a deep enough area for the dragon to fully soak in water. As I stated previously, Chinese water dragons are semi-arboreal lizards, and often to not, I see people make the mistake of having an all-aquatic habitat. Truth be told, if you keep a water dragon with an all-water bottom, it'll become too humid to where the dragon cannot dry off thoroughly. When a Chinese water dragon is kept in too moist of conditions, it'll actually be more prone to fungal infections, scale rot, and bacterial infections. Not to mention, without being able to dry dry out for a period of time, you're also increasing the likelihood of a respiratory infection. Hence why I like to keep it simple, have a nice naturalistic looking clean water bowl that the dragon can soak in while also being easy to clean. As you may have noticed, I did leave a single piece of cork on hand. Chinese water dragons, as I said, live near moving streams of water. So what I'm going to mimic is the dragon having the ability to perch over the water bowl, as I will show you. Now that our terrarium is completely set up, we can get into lighting for your Chinese water dragon. Chinese water dragons are diurnal lizards, meaning they are active during the daylight hours between dawn and dusk. Being a diurnal lizard, it also means they bask in the sun to heat up and get energy. For a heat lamp, one could use the old, crappy, inefficient technology of an incandescent bulb. What Zilla Reptile Products has done is they have released the mini halogen bulb. So this is actually a 25 watt day blue Zilla mini halogen bulb in a single Zilla mini dome. I love these halogens. I cannot stress them enough. I have switched all of my personal reptiles over to halogen bulbs because they last so much longer. They are a lower wattage, so you don't use as much electricity. And to be honest, they're really low profile. I mean, this dome, it's about 3 inches tall as opposed to a really big, unnecessarily bulky 8.5 inch dome. So when it comes to a basking fixture for your Chinese water dragon, I choose no other than the Zilla mini dome with a 25 watt day blue halogen. This will keep the basking temperatures correct for your Chinese water dragon while still allowing a proper thermo gradient on the enclosure. So we are going to be placing that in the back right corner of the enclosure, right where we positioned our cork for a basking spot. And there you have it. What's nice is the Zilla mini halogens come with spring clips, so that way they do not fall off the screen or get jostled, thus prolonging the life of your bulb. We will plug that into an outlet and turn it on. Chinese water dragons are diurnal lizards, so they also need UVB light. This is an old T8 fixture that I had on hand, and thanks to Zilla Reptile Products, I will be using a Zilla Desert 50 UVB bulb. Now I know what some of you guys may be thinking. Water dragons are tropical lizards, so they should be on tropical UVB. But through my years of keeping them, one must remember that they are found near the equator. So technically speaking, the sun is going to be much more intense on the equator than it would be as, say, somewhere up here in North America. I found that Chinese water dragons do best when kept with a higher output of UVB bulb, as it mimics the intense equilateral sun they would experience in the wild. So we're gonna let the fixture turn on right here. We're going to place that diagonally across the enclosure so it completely covers the habitat with UVB. One last thing before we finish our Chinese water dragon enclosure, I like to use these blue ceramic bowls for feeding insects such as dubia roaches and small crickets, as it allows the dragon to eat as much insects as it wants in a single filling while still being able to move around the entire enclosure. So we can just place that food bowl right here inside the enclosure and the dragons will come down and eat at their leisure. I have found that the dragons tend to eat better when the food bowl is placed roughly below the basking site, so that way they warm up, they see their food, and they're all energized and ready to eat it. And now we can add our baby Chinese water dragon. So right here in my hand is one of my own captive born and bred Chinese water dragons. This little one here hatched out in January of 2019. And as you can see, he is an adorable little baby. It's amazing how fast they grow. To give you an idea, when he hatched out, he was about this long between my thumb and index finger. And now he is almost length as if I was to be like, YOLO, what's up? Anyways, we'll add him to the enclosure. And we'll see if he enjoys it. There you go, little one. So overall, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, a huge thank you to Zilla Reptile Products for sending me this terrarium, as well as their lighting and water bowl to set this habitat up for this awesome young baby Chinese water dragon. If it wasn't for Zilla Reptile Products, this video wouldn't be possible. So again, definitely visit their website down below and like their Facebook page and give them all the support you can. Don't forget to follow my page on Facebook, the Snake Dude 1814, and feel free to join my own Facebook group called Chinese Water Dragon Care and Ownership. Myself and a team of admins who also keep and breed Chinese water dragons will be happy to help you guys answer any questions regarding your new pet in order to help you have a happy water dragon. Until then, guys, this has been Alex, or the Snake Dude 1814, one of my baby water dragons in a new amazing setup, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.